We reviewed this recent study referencing the bias of pronation versus supination. I want to show you how we actually apply that in-house to our VeloU athletes.
So how do we recognize pronation versus supination? We use Trackman here at VeloU. What we're going to be looking at is spin efficiency. So typically with a pronator, you're going to see a very efficient fastball, efficient changeup, and then more of a gyro degree on the slider or breaking ball. With a supinator, you're going to see a little bit more cut, a little bit more seam shift in terms of sinkers and changeups, and they're going to have an easier time throwing sliders and curveballs with more break on them. So now that we've identified what type of bias this pitcher has, we really want to lean into that and try and strengthen that as much as possible. So now that leads itself to a conversation with our strength coach about how we're actually going to strengthen that range.
All right, so now that we know whether the athlete is a pronator or a supinator, here's a simple progression on how we would relate the strength training into their bias. Okay, so the first thing that we would start with is a low intensity isometric and holding it for a long time. So if I'm a supinated bias, I'm gonna get the wooden dowel here, and I'm gonna be pushing at about 70–75% into the pin here for about anywhere from 45 seconds to a minute. The idea here is to build some tissue capacity in that pattern. And then if I was a pronator, it's going to be the same thing, but just the other way. So same idea, trying to build some tissue capacity with a long duration isometric. Now after the phase of long duration isometrics, now we're moving to the cable with a low resistance, and now we're trying to build some volume in that tissue. So if I'm a supinator, I'm going to be working through a supination pattern here. The cable, and then if I'm a pronator, the cable's just going to be going the other way. So now after the phase of volume, now we're heading into overloaded eccentrics. So I've cranked up the cable machine a little bit higher, and I'm going to assist myself throughout those ranges, and I'm trying to fight the resistance on the way back. Really trying to overload the forearm throughout either one of those patterns. So then for supination, I'm going to switch over to the other side.